OMG, we're here, we're live. And I have no idea if this works because you're on my phone again. And this is madness. It's madness. Okay. Okay. It's not working. Dang it, I was so sure this would work. Hello, welcome. If you can hear me, please let me know in the chat because you're all on my phone again. And so, yeah, I didn't set this up properly and I should have, but I have an idea. So let's do this like this. Oh my gosh, there's 4 people watching. Hi, Peter. Welcome to the madness, everybody. Happy Moon Day and Eclipse Day. Can you believe it? We made it to the eclipse. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad. Now I still have to figure out how to set this phone up. So let me just do that. So I have a tripod, but as it turns out, the tripod did not work because I need it on top of the table as opposed to not. But oh my gosh, hi, can you hear me well? And I keep asking because I just don't know how the phone is setting and how the microphone is setting and whether the sound is muffled or not. And it happens, but welcome to Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace after a 2-week hiatus. How you doing? I skipped last week. I gave myself permission to not do the live if I didn't feel like talking. I was processing a lot. There was a lot going on, and in the process of acknowledging our neurodivergence and in the process of accommodating our needs, I have realized that even though sometimes, not always, sometimes I am a verbal processor and I like to talk about the things that I'm currently processing so that I can navigate it verbally, right? And I do this with my coach. If I do this with my spouse, then it turns into a conversation, but sometimes we just need to hear ourselves, right? Talk, and that's what's great about coaching. But sometimes I realize that sometimes I go complete silent. And it started with observing why I pull away from people and what that is about. If I obviously don't like to be ghosted, then what's up with ghosting people, right? Or just not talking to them or not reaching out as often, so on and so forth. And so all of that to say there was a lot going on. And this eclipse season has been interesting because I've told you all before how my husband is a Pisces, and there's a lot going on in his own world, in his own timeline. And of course, I'm here for him to process. And in doing so, then it turns into, it's happening to us. We're going through it together, even if it's just something that it's about him and his own journey. And so this eclipse season has been very revealing for both of us as a family. And the Mercury retrograde in Aries has really emphasized a lot of the things that we thought we were ready for months ago. And now it's like, oh, now I get it. Now I'm ready. Now I'm totally excited and psyched up for it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love because it's spring. So, raise your hand if you marked yourself safe from the solar eclipse of August 8th. So many astrologers were talking about it since last year. There were so many predictions and, end of times kind of catastrophizing. And I trust, but also hope that everyone in this forum that has been following this conversation has been feeling okay with what the eclipse season has brought up. Because in the end, here's the thing, everything that comes in waves, I hope you felt it. I hope you were able to witness how some of these insights or revelations or downloads, or what do you want to call them, right? How all of these thoughts governed by Mercury come in waves, meaning, it happens a lot when I'm doing the dishes. And let's not talk about how water is a conductor and how water is, one of the four elements. And when it comes to magic, there's elemental magic, using the elements to do or to accelerate, or whatever your intention is, whatever you're trying to do. We're not going to get into magic. But in the bathroom, in the bathtub, in the shower, or washing dishes, what comes through? What memories do you suddenly find in your periphery? Because during the solar eclipse, or I should say during eclipse season, which is from today backwards 14 days, right? Between today's new moon and the previous full moon that we shared together. Everything that comes up is for your good, in the sense that the universe obviously wants us to succeed. It is in the best interest. Think about it. It is in the best interest of the planet. Let's just talk about our tiny little planet in this whole entire universe. It is in the best interest of mother nature for you to be happy, to be wealthy, to be at your best. Because when you're at your best, hopefully you tend to things with care. You tend to nature with more enthusiasm and more care. And I say it as a should, because that depends on who you are and what you value. But values and past karma and past cycles and past dreams might be coming to the surface as this solar eclipse culminates this chapter for us. Notice how the solar eclipse becomes a release of sorts, because what it's revealing should be really what's getting in the way. And that's one of the most famous coaching questions ever, right? What's getting in the way of you and what you want? So that now I can then coach you into how to get over that hurdle and get what you want, right? So, what is getting in the way is a common question, but sometimes we don't realize how very little things may be getting in the way because they amount to something, right? Just like 100 pennies make $1, and $100 are $100, right? And so there's so much, if you think about it, in the way of what you're doing. And in the end, I feel like if you're still having the same conversations today, or when I say today, I mean in the vicinity, right? So in this season, if you're still having the same conversations that you were having last year at this time, what does that tell you? I'll ask the question. But in reality, without asking the question, that's a red flag. If you're still having the same dreams and talking about it would be so great to do this one day, the same way that you were talking about this when you were much younger, then the Mercury retrograde is going to bring it back, not just because you live with the regret of not pursuing it, but because the universe is telling you, hey, how about we revisit this? But it's not that the universe tells you to revisit it just for kicks and for fun. It's like revisit it because clearly there's something there. And the point is to get into the action of how to get that ball rolling, how to get that project going, how to get that dream from above to below to the ground. All of that should be coming up this week, or has been coming up for the past 2 weeks, or will come up as Mercury retrogrades through Aries, because Aries is me, the self, my dreams, my path, my journey, how we are in this life together, but we're not one. That's not real. Okay, that's not true. That's all part of the script we've been given. So, you know, Aries says, I've been sacrificing for so long. I want to do this for myself now. Aries says, I know I can make this work and it'll be so good for the family, Libra. And then Libra says, of course, how can we make this one thing work so that it contributes to the collective, it helps the collective, so on and so forth. So I have said so much. How was the eclipse for you? How did you see it? Where were you? In the sunshine state, we were nowhere close to the path of totality, and it was a bright, clear blue day. We did notice, we were all outside, and we did notice that the glare of the sun at 2 p.m., how it kind of bounces off of every surface, even if it's not a metallic surface when it's bright, it kind of went away. But it didn't get dark because we're not in the total, in the path of totality at all. But I want to say to my friend Rami Astro, I'm so grateful that he got his telescope and he showed us the eclipse and it looked so beautiful. I shared his pictures already. His work is just so good. And it was fun to be there with him because even though he wasn't on the live, he was talking and he was interacting. And so that was awesome. Rainy, so very rainy in Puerto Rico. Well, I'm sorry. You wouldn't have been in the path of totality either, so you probably might have not noticed the change in the light. But if you were in the path of totality, I'm sure it was magical. When there's a solar eclipse, it really does get dark. The world kind of turns as if it had a filter on it, a sepia or just a muted tone kind of filter, and it is very magical. I did notice that all the birds went quiet as Rami was explaining that in the next few minutes we're going to be on the totality view of it. And we have a lot of wildlife around us, many birds, squirrels and ravens and all of that. And they were very quiet right as it was, the totality was happening. So I made a note of that. Just interesting to observe, right? When it comes to mindfulness and when it comes to being present, what do you hear? What do you smell? What does the breeze feel like? What's the temperature? How do you feel in your body? That's you being on your 2 feet, pondering the present moment and your surroundings, right? So it was a beautiful moment of mindfulness. I saw on X somebody asking, what was your spiritual insight during the eclipse? I felt like I had a clear intention today of not so much expecting downloads or planning on requesting something from the universe. I even pondered the difference between manifesting and asking for things and how they kind of, I'm not going to say they're the same, but it kind of felt like the same kind of vibe. And when it came to the eclipse, I wanted to just be there. I wanted to be grateful. I wanted to just bask in the event itself And I woke up with a clear intention to do that. So that's what I did. And it was awesome. We blew some bubbles and then we finished the night with a fire. We had a fire last night as well to celebrate that. It was kind of the eclipse eve happening. So I was very excited to do that. Anyway, I wonder how it was for Peter over in California. It probably was just another day because you were nowhere near the path of totality either. But let's begin. Let's talk about where the moon is. Every day this week, we are following my book, Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace 2024 Manifestation Agenda / Journal, the only journal you need to make and nurture plans, avoid burnout, and create fearlessly. Now, on this journal, you have an opportunity every moon day to journal and to check out where the moon is. We have a new moon in Aries happening today with the solar eclipse. It gives you affirmations, a spot to time block. I didn't time block because today there was only one thing on the agenda, which was to go to the Dollar Tree to get some snacks for the week. Shout out to the Dollar Tree because they're the only place locally that sells corn nuts, and I love that. It's like I'm back in Puerto Rico at age 12 eating freaking corn nuts. So excuse me for my preference of snacks, but thank you, Dollar Tree, for always having them on hand. So the only errand I wanted to do was run to the Dollar Tree before the eclipse, just in case people drove crazy. I didn't want to risk it with a child in the car. And we got home 1 hour before the eclipse, and then that was it. Everything else was nature, playing, doing some laundry, folding some clothes, and then we had dinner and it was wonderful. So no need to time block that. But of course, here's your space to time block on the Monday, and you get to journal every moon day as well. So we start the week with the moon in Aries. This new moon is right here on the chart. Now, this chart may be different from you because I just ordered this off of Amazon and it's super cheap. So if you want it, just go get it. But this is where we are. And something that is so big about this eclipse is that the sun is in Aries, noted, right? Because it's Aries season. The moon is in Aries, noted, because, it's a new moon in Aries. But Chiron, which we've talked about briefly because it's not a planet, but I have brought it up before. Chiron, the wounded healer, is also in Aries. And what does that mean? Chiron is the one that is bringing up all of these past wounds, past thoughts of who has betrayed you, who has faulted you, how have you sacrificed yourself, right? That's very Aries. What have you given up and why? What is your resentment, right? Resentment is about the past. And so the point of Chiron is to expose where the hurt is, so that by bringing your awareness to it, now you know exactly what you need to work on. So what is that for you? Ponder that. No need to answer in the comments, but all of that is coming up, right? And Mercury retrograde is very helpful for this transit because Chiron needs that Mercury retrograde to bring up those things from the past in thought form, in that download, in that insight, in that gut feeling. Remember, Mercury governs your thoughts, your beliefs, what you tell yourself, how you communicate with others, how you're communicating with yourself. And so sometimes we don't think about those things, but what I like about following the astrology is when I'm being a little bit harsher on myself than I would like to be, I like to think, well, is Mercury retrograde? Because I'll blame Mercury all day long, right? If I'm going to preach that I love myself, then I want to practice that. And if I'm not currently practicing it, then I want to be able to check a box, because if Mercury is not retrograde, then I really have to look at myself and why I'm being harsh on myself. But if I'm struggling with negative self-talk and I check the astrology and Mercury is retrograde, well, then that explains it. It really does, because it trips all kind of communication. So I wonder if that comes up for you, or how, right? How do you fumble through your conversations during a Mercury retrograde? I've already seen double booking, showing up places on the wrong date, communication, right? We remember how last week my computer camera did not work. Now, for this day, I totally spaced out and forgot about the computer camera. So here we are on the phone, and it's like that, right? Waking up and thinking that it's Friday when it's only Wednesday. That's so Mercury retrograde. And most importantly, your emails may, you may think or you may see that it was sent, but maybe it wasn't. So double check any important emails that people are expecting from you, and make sure you check your spam folders and your junk folders for emails that you are importantly waiting on, right? Important emails that you're waiting on. And also, of course, travel, because Mercury governs it's Mercury governs the air signs, right? So it's air, it's travel, it's aircrafts, and yeah, if you were traveling today, I would love to hear about that too. So let me know. But well, before we move on to the week, let me tell you the affirmation for today. I express my authentic self with boldness and sincerity. I welcome new adventures and changes, knowing they lead to my personal growth and self empowerment. I mean, what are you currently working on? What are you currently starting, which is Aries? Aries is the starter. It is the first sign of the zodiac. So we start here and then we go this way. It is, yeah, Aries and Taurus. Okay. I was just checking that it wasn't inverted, because sometimes, you get things and they are. Um, it's that fire, it's that first glimpse of an interest, right? It's that spark that says, "Ooh, what is that? And how can I get it? Or how can I do it? Or where can I get some of that? Or let's go ahead, let's do that. It sounds great, blah, blah, blah," right? And so, what are you currently working on, and what are you currently starting in your life? And does it play a part in the big picture? Does it play a part in your future? Are you really doing what is best for your personal development, or are you not? And there's no shame in not doing what will propel you toward your dream. There is no shame in not doing it. There's no shame in taking your time. I mean, I started the episode telling you how this Mercury retrograde and this eclipse season has brought up a lot for us as a family in a great, growing, and unifying and harmonizing way. But just to put this into perspective, what we are taking action on right now, currently in our lives, little action, little by little, every day, is something that we have been building up in conversation little by little for the past 8 years. We've been together for 8 years, and it's been kind of like that conversation of, what are we going to do when we reached this point? And here we are. And the time came, and Mercury retrograde showed up to say, you've been talking about this for a long time. So what are you going to do about it? And the astrology is so beautiful this week. Beautiful in the sense that I'm hoping that we can really start grounding some of those ideas, right? The new moon is all about manifesting. Now, a lot of people are saying don't manifest on a new moon. Don't manifest during the eclipse, but in the end, the eclipse is the ending and the new moon is the beginning. So there's that bookend I told you about. And most bookends allow you to put books on each side of it. So ponder that as well. It's like a divider, right? So we have the moon tomorrow and Wednesday in Taurus as well. I mean, from today, it shifts into Taurus tomorrow. And Taurus, I'm hoping, is that moon that will kind of put into perspective a lot of the things that we may have hopefully decided on in this weekend with this eclipse, because Taurus is the cow on the ground, right? Taurus is slow. Taurus is very careful. Taurus is very concerned that the foundation of what is being built is secure, so that in the future, once you keep building upon it, there is that security and safety that Taurus is all about. So I'm hoping that some of these thoughts and downloads that have come up or transpired or that you felt the last either weekend or the past 2 weeks, that you finally decide on something and you start taking action, because the moon in Taurus will be very glad that you're doing that, right? And the thing is that Venus is also in Aries, right? Let me just confirm. I have my notes here. Venus is also in Aries. So Venus creates that sense of urgency because Venus wants to see in the flesh what you have been dreaming about. Venus governs Taurus and it governs Libra. So the south node, opposite of where this eclipse is at, Aries and Libra. So right here, Venus also governs Libra, but Venus is in Aries. So Venus is opposite Libra. And Libra is also about how we bring to life the harmony of what we're thinking about. I decided to bring this to illustrate how I've been practicing mindfulness, and it's just been coloring. So here it is. Yay, accountability. Noted. But Libra and Taurus, they're very concerned with beauty, harmony, and how we bring to life into the flesh the things that we have been dreaming and thinking about and planning. It's like you can plan. You can plan all you want. Oh, yeah, it's going to be so great. This summer, we're going to do this, and that's great. But what did you do about the plan? So, moon in Taurus, I hope can help us with that. And then Thursday and Friday, we have the moon in Gemini. Now, Thursday might be a bit, I'm hoping even more revealing than the whole eclipse season, because the sun will be in Mercury. So it's going to shed light on some of these mindsets, some of these beliefs, absolutely some of these doubts. So it's a great day to kind of ponder what you're feeling insecure about. What is this feeling I have about the action that I've been taking, right? It's like everything you get today is about the past, but it's also about the future, so that you can course correct, especially during a Mercury retrograde. And then Saturday and Sunday, we're all going to be in our feelings as we end the week, because the moon will be in Cancer. And so Cancer, I'm hoping that kind of brings some closure with what Chiron is bringing up for us in Aries with this Mercury retrograde, and how, even though, notice this, right? So here's Aries and here is Cancer. So I'm going to use 2 pens to illustrate. Notice how this makes a square, or if it's not a real complete square, it's definitely one of those touchy-feely aspects that may be a bit difficult. So all of this that's happening in Aries with the sun and the moon and Venus and Mercury retrograde, and then we have Saturn and Mars in Jupiter. Everything that's happening in Aries is going to be on a challenging aspect to Cancer, when the moon, all of our emotions and all of the touchy feelings that Chiron is bringing up, when the moon rolls around on Sunday, Saturday, and Sunday. So take care of yourself, take care of your plans, nurture your plans. How are you going to do that, right? We don't just plant the seed and forget it. We actually water it. Some of us sing to the plants, some of us, clean the leaves. This one at the top, you can't see it, but here's an orchid that has been with us for 8 years, and it's now finally growing a new leaf. After 8 years of no flowers, it's finally growing. I've been watering it, and it's right here, and it gets music every day. And, things take time. And we're so used to the quick snap and a hop and a skip, and, you click and you get, and it's so quick, it's so easy. But no, that's not how the world and the planets move. Everything really just takes its time. This is why the seasons are so important. And we're still at the start of the season, right? We're still at the beginning of spring. It's still Aries season until April 20th. So April 20th, let me see. Let me double check, because that's what the agenda is for. That's right. Well, April 19th is the beginning of Taurus season. So that's the week, y'all. That is the week. And that was a lot. I hope that was a lot. And I hope that it resonates, and I hope that it makes sense. But before we move into the meditation, let's talk about the questions for the new moon. In this book, you get to answer some journaling promptings every new moon and full moon. You have a space for you to journal your impressions, to journal whatever you want, or to answer the questions in this space. And then you are invited to paint over it with black and then create something beautiful. So here you can see that snake, and they're all over my place. I was actually thinking about making a TikTok today about all the moon paintings that I have all over the place before I take them down. So, question number 1. How do you feel prompted to address issues related to personal courage? Meaning, what are the issues related to personal courage, and how do you feel prompted to address those issues? Meaning, what are you going to do about the issues? What do you need? Do you need to bring it up in order to process? Do you need to sleep on it? Do you need to make a decision? Do you need to buy something in order to just make it better? Do you need to let it go? Do you need to forget it and never bring it up again? Do you need to have a conversation with someone? Do you need forgiveness? It's like, that's what these questions are geared to kind of point you in the direction of. But if you don't open yourself to those answers, then you won't get anywhere. What steps can you take to embrace new beginning in these areas of your life and foster self-empowerment? This goes back to the affirmation that I just discussed. Hello, Adam. Happy solar eclipse day. Happy moon day. Thanks for keeping me honest. Last week, Adam was the one that texted me and said, "Hey, I did not see your show. What happened?" I said, "I skipped it, played hooky, didn't do it." But here we are. So, what steps can you take to embrace new beginnings in these areas and then foster self-empowerment in the process? And question number 2, what aspects of your life need transformation or closure? Where do you feel like you still need to kind of revisit in order to pack up your closure in your pocket and walk out in the opposite direction? Because that's what closure is, right? A closure, it's like it's closed, so you have to turn around in the other direction, right? So think about that. How can you gracefully surrender to the unknown? And the reason why I bring up the unknown in these questions is because the eclipses kind of set the tone for the next 6 months. But at the end of the day, we can have all of these hopes and all of these plans and take all of these actions and still not have control over the final, result, over the end. It's like it's almost like driving for hours to go somewhere, planning this amazing trip, planning what we'll do when we get there, and then getting there and finding out that a structure is just no longer there, or it's broken, or it's condemned, or it's just not for us. And how many times have we done that? How many times have we put together so many ventures and then just not found what we wanted when we got there? or decided to just move in a different direction. I mean, if you think that in the past 2 weeks of not doing this show, I did not think to myself, well, should I just forget about the show altogether? Then you're wrong and you don't know me at all, because I did ponder all the things during this eclipse. It's 2 weeks of existential drama, in a sense. It's what am I doing? Why am I doing it? How is it resonating with my soul? And what am I going to do moving forward? Is it going to be different? Is it going to be the same? So on and so forth. All of these things. Oh my gosh, it is so much, and it just never stops, right? So, how can you gracefully surrender to the unknown in order to welcome new and beneficial developments? And the thing is that you don't know that they're beneficial unless you let them in. You don't know that a change in your life will be good for you unless you really take action toward that change, unless you really get on board, both feet on board of that boat, and start sailing. So, the affirmation for the new moon is: I courageously tackle the barriers that have held me back. I trust in my self mastery and embrace new beginnings with confidence and enthusiasm. I welcome new adventures and changes, knowing they lead to my personal growth and self empowerment. I mean, if that is not like exciting, if that doesn't sound exciting to you, then I don't know what does. I find Aries season to be very motivating, not just because it's my birthday month, but because fire is my favorite element. I was going to say sign. Fire is my favorite element. So I do love Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. So that's it, everybody. That concludes our conversation. So just to bring it back to where we are today in this beautiful, invisible, but we saw it earlier, right? Invisible moon, that is the new moon in Aries, with this once in a lifetime almost. See, the thing is that what made this eclipse so special, aside from the fact that the last time you saw a total solar eclipse and was in a different sign, and you were a different age, and you were a different person, right? So this is the one you're seeing for the first time. Um, this eclipse had the sun and the moon on the same degree of Aries, but Chiron, the wounded healer, is also in the same degree. And so we're not going to get this combination for, I don't know, a decade or longer. And so this is what makes these astrological events be so broadcasted and so talked about. It's a cultural thing for us, and I of course exclude all Native Americans, because in their culture they have their own way of handling the eclipses, right? So when I say we, I mean everyone that watched it, saw it, and did something fun for it. Let's just call it that. So it's a cultural phenomenon to take time and go out and get the glasses and see it. And I'm just so excited that we got to share it, that we were in this together, and it was a blast. So thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up after my 2 week hiatus. Thank you for believing in me and for supporting me and my content and my projects and all of my love. I love you so much. So, let's get to our meditation. We have a few minutes. As you know, these have been very short lately because I like to keep them short, but I'm just so grateful and excited for a lot of the changes that are coming, feeling the fear and doing it anyway, feeling that trepidation of not knowing really how things will turn out, but doing the thing anyway. So if you're feeling scared, if you're feeling prompted to jump, but you're standing on that ledge in a good way, you know, jumping into the pool, jumping into the water of a project, not jumping, you know, gosh, I can't believe I just said that, but you know what I mean. Then I hope that we can hold hands and jump in and do it together. So let me know what you're working on, because I'm so excited for us. Now, let's get into this meditation. Let's relax. If you're able, lay down. We're here with Brain FM. You have a free trial in the link in the bio, music for your brain to do exactly what you choose the music for. So here is an unguided meditation, ambience, and I'm just so grateful. Let's go ahead and relax. If you're able to lay down, that would be great. So you can really engage your stomach and your diaphragm in a deep breath. If you're sitting, no problem. Just sit very still and relax your shoulders. Relax your jaw. Lower your tongue. Relax it in your mouth. And with me, take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep, long breath in through your nose. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out through your mouth. Long breath out. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe in again through your nose. Deep breath in. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out. Exhale nice and slow through your mouth. And as you relax into this exhale, I want you to visualize yourself sitting on the ground, digging in the dirt, feeling with your fingertips every single root, everything that's growing. And as you wiggle your fingers and feel with your touch, I want you to remember how much each root pushes to make ground, to expand, to go deeper, to be more secure, to be strong. And as you visualize and feel all of this growth, ponder all of the growth and all of the expansion that has transpired within yourself, below the surface. The growth that nobody sees. The expansion and the plans that nobody knows about. All of the amazing things awaiting you in the next year. And as you find yourself face to face with all of these, take a deep breath in through your nose, nice and slow. Deep breath in, hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, nice and slow. Exhale through your mouth. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and relax into this exhale. And remember, I express my authentic self with boldness and sincerity. I welcome new adventures and changes, knowing that they lead to my personal growth and self-empowerment. I am ready to take action on my dreams. I am committed to taking the best next step for me. I am grateful. I am guided. I am so loved and protected. With me, take one last deep breath through your nose. Nice and slow, fill your lungs with air. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out. Exhale nice and slow through your mouth. Long breath out. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe in again through your nose. Nice and slow, deep breath in. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale. Nice and slow. And as you relax into this exhale, bring your attention back to your body, wiggle your toes, and come back to me. Yay! I found my bell! Yay! That concludes our time together, friends. I am so grateful for you. Thank you for always waiting for me and showing up and participating. I love you so much. Thank you so much, Peter, Adam, and my sister, my bestie. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching the replay. And please let me know where you are tuning in from, or as most of you prefer, send me a DM. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what's coming up for you. I absolutely honor confidentiality, and I love getting to connect with you all in the DMs. So please don't stop. And yeah, I'll see you all next week, because even though I thought about not doing this show anymore for lots of reasons, I do enjoy our time together, and I do enjoy making sense of all of this celestial madness, if you will. I love you all, and I will see you next Monday. Bye.